You've been feeling the shift, that subtle pull in the air, the heaviness in the silence, the sense that something's approaching, not loud, not chaotic, but meaningful. And it's not a coincidence, because the person you're about to meet was aligned long before you ever knew you were ready. But here's the twist: you weren't ready before. You may have wanted love. You may have dreamed of connection. You may have begged the universe to send you someone. But wanting is not the same as being prepared. And you had lessons to learn first. You had to go through the silence, through the heartbreak, through the chapters where you felt invisible, unwanted, unchosen. You had to stand in front of mirrors and face parts of yourself you once tried to hide. That pain, it wasn't punishment. It was preparation. Because the kind of love that's coming your way, it's not here to complete you. It's here to meet you. And for that to happen, you had to meet yourself first. You had to stop begging for half-loves. You had to stop shrinking for people who couldn't handle your light. You had to walk away from what was familiar but unfulfilling. You had to learn that your value doesn't increase just because someone finally sees it. And you did, quietly, painfully, powerfully. You grew. You let go of the old story, the one where you were always left, always chasing, always proving. You stopped searching for home in other people, and you built one inside yourself. And that's what changed everything. Because now, someone is coming, and they're not coming to rescue you. You're already safe. They're not coming to fix you. You're already whole. They're coming because your energy has finally opened the door that was locked every time you tolerated. Every time you chose fear. Every time you let loneliness convince you to settle. But not anymore now. You've reached a level of alignment that can no longer be ignored. And the universe doesn't play games when it comes to alignment. So when this person enters your life, it will feel natural, effortless. But don't mistake ease for lack of depth. Because this connection, it's not surface, it's soul. You'll feel it in the pauses, in the way time slows down around them, in the way your nervous system finally relaxes, not because you're bored, but because you're safe. Your mind won't race with doubt. Your heart won't ache with confusion. Instead, everything will feel like a deep breath, not loud, but certain, and maybe for the first time, you won't feel like you're performing. You won't have to hide the soft parts of you. You won't have to ask for the bare minimum, because this person, they'll see you clearly, not as something to fix, but as something to witness, to hold, to build with. But here's the thing: the version of you that receives this love is not the same version that begged for it. This you is different. You've outgrown the wounds that used to choose chaos. You've outloved the patterns that kept repeating. You've learned the sacred difference between attachment and connection. That's why this time, it won't feel like a storm. It'll feel like sunrise, steady, warm, inevitable. And no, not everyone will understand it. They'll say you changed, that you're harder to reach, that you're too picky, but they don't see the path you walked. They don't know the nights you spent learning to love your own silence, the boundaries you had to build from nothing, the tears you swallowed just to hold your standards. They don't see how many versions of you had to die, so this one could finally live. But this person, they'll see it. They'll recognize the strength behind your softness, the courage behind your calm, the wisdom in your silence, because they've walked their own path. Too, they've healed their own wounds. They've also had to outgrow people who couldn't meet them. And now, you'll meet each other not out of lack, but out of overflow, Because that's what true alignment is, to people full on their own, choosing to walk together not because they need to, but because their souls are in rhythm. And when that kind of rhythm finds you, it changes everything. But you have to stay open, not desperate, available, not chasing, aligned, not forcing, because the love that's coming isn't one you can manipulate into being. It arrives when your frequency says finally, I see myself. Finally, I honor what I deserve. Finally, I stop apologizing for wanting something real. And when you reach that finally, destiny responds, not with noise, but with arrival. You won't have to second guess it. It won't feel like a game you're trying to win or a puzzle you're trying to solve. It will feel like truth, quiet, whole, undeniable, not because it's perfect, but because it's real. You'll recognize it, not in the words, but in the energy, in the way they show up without needing to be asked, in the way you feel more yourself, around them than you ever did alone. Not smaller, not filtered, just you, fully. And maybe that's the part that scares you a little, because when you've spent years being unseen, when you've learned to wear armor, when you've grown strong by being on your own, letting someone in can feel like surrender, but not the kind of surrender that means weakness, the kind that means trust, not just in them, but in yourself, that you've done enough inner work to choose wisely, that you're no longer operating from fear or need, that this time your intuition is louder than your trauma, and you'll feel that difference in the subtle ways, like how they listen to you not just to respond, but to understand how they hold space when you're quiet, without pressuring you to perform, how your body doesn't tense around them, how your soul doesn't brace for abandonment. There's a calm that enters your life when someone is aligned with your spirit, and with them, it'll feel like finally arriving somewhere you've never been, but somehow always known. You won't question your worth anymore. You won't need to twist yourself into a shape that fits their preferences, because this person, they're not here to mold you, they're here to mirror you, to reflect back all the beauty, all the fire, all the love you've been giving away with nothing in return. And you'll finally realize you were never too much. You just hadn't met someone who could hold you. But don't rush it. When it begins, it may not start with fireworks and chaos. It may start with presence, with quiet comfort, with a conversation that feels like soul recognition. And for a moment, you'll wonder why it feels so easy, why your guard isn't up, why you're not overanalyzing every detail like you used to. It's because you're nervous. System knows it's because this connection wasn't built on survival, it was built on alignment. So stop trying to make it look like someone else's story. This won't be a romance made for the highlight reel. This will be sacred, intimate, celestial, built not on aesthetics, but on energy, the kind of energy that you don't need to chase or beg for, because it finds you when you're being you, fully, softly, boldly, authentically. And don't worry, if you don't see it coming, this person may appear when you least expect it. They may enter in the middle of your healing, your chaos, your rebuilding, because aligned love doesn't always wait for you to feel finished. Sometimes it arrives to remind you that you don't have to be perfect to be loved. You just have to be true, true to your voice, true to your values, true to the version of you that no longer settles for half-hearted energy. And that's what will keep this connection alive, not effort, but honesty. This person, they won't love the idea of you. They'll love your depth, your flaws, your journey. They'll celebrate your growth instead of fearing it. They'll meet your boundaries with respect, not resistance. They'll want to understand your pain, run from it, and when conflict comes, and there will be repair, respect, communication, because aligned love doesn't fear the dark, it grows in it. But remember, your ability to receive this connection is still tied to your ability to stay grounded in your truth. So when this person shows up on self-sabotage, don't run just because it feels unfamiliar to be loved right. Don't push them away just to protect the part of you that's afraid to be seen. Instead, breathe taut, pause, let yourself receive, because this isn't just a person, it's a portal, a divine mirror sent not to complete you but to walk beside you as you continue to evolve. And if you've made it this far, you already feel it. You already know they're close. Their energy is echoing in your field. You might feel it as a subtle curiosity, a dream, a wave of peace when you're alone for no reason at all. That's not fantasy, that's resonance. Your frequency is calling them in, because when you rise, your soul begins to send out a new signal, one that only the right heart can hear, and they are hearing it. They are moving through their own shadows, letting go of their own attachments, clearing their own path toward you, because this is not a random meeting, it's a reunion of souls, of timelines, of a love written in codes no language can hold, but you'll feel it in their presence, in their silence, in the peace that pours into your life. The moment you stop chasing and start allowing. This is not about becoming who you think they'll want it. It's about embodying who you already are, because that's who they're meant to meet. Not the mask, not the version of you that's been dimmed or diluted. The real you, that's the one they've been searching for. And that's the one the universe is about to bring into alignment. Stay ready, stay grounded, stay true. Don't panic when it starts to feel real. That voice inside you, the one that whispers, "This is too good to be true," it's not truth. It's a scar, a leftover imprint from when love came wrapped in conditions, in chaos, in temporary comfort. This isn't that, this is different. But your nervous system may not know that yet. It's still learning to trust peace. Still learning that being seen doesn't mean being hurt. That being chosen doesn't mean being used. That someone staying doesn't mean you owe them your soul. You don't. You're allowed to be loved without losing yourself. You're allowed to receive without repayment. You're allowed to lean in and still keep your freedom. Because this love, this connection, it won't come to take. It will come to amplify. It will stretch you, yes, but not in the way pain did. Not in the way fear did. It will stretch you into your higher self. Into a version of you that dreams bigger, speaks louder, loves deeper, because the right person isn't here to complete your journey. They're here to witness it, to walk beside you without steering your path, to challenge you, gently to grow with you, consciously to mirror your light in ways you forgot were possible. And when that love roots itself into your life, things begin to shift. Your voice changes, more confident, more calm, your pace slows. You don't need to rush anymore. Your decisions become bolder. You stop asking for permission to be full. And it's not because they saved you. It's because you feel safe enough to show up fully. That's what real love does. It doesn't perform. It doesn't chase. It doesn't manipulate. It remembers. And this connection, it will feel like remembering something you never learned, but somehow always knew. You'll have moments sitting across from them, laughing about something trivial, or just holding hands in silence where time will blur and your soul will whisper, greater than I've been here before. Because you have. This isn't a beginning, it's a continuation. The reunion of two energies that chose each other long before the body ever caught up, and the timing perfect, because anything sooner would have broken under the weight of your unhealed wounds. Anything later would have missed the window your growth created. Now is the window, and as you step into it, you'll notice how life rearranges around this union, not just emotionally, energetically, spiritually. You'll start attracting aligned opportunities, creativity will expand, purpose will clarify. Doors you once thought were sealed shut will open like they were always meant for you, because this person isn't a distraction, they're a key, not a key to your worth, but to your expansion, and together you'll start to unlock new timelines, new possibilities, new realities. The love you've called in isn't ordinary. It's catalytic, the kind that pushes you toward purpose, the kind that makes you unrecognizably in the best way. But remember this, just because it's divine doesn't mean it's effortless. It will require presence, communication, LLINTIONALITY. You single quotes, LL. Need to unlearn patterns that once kept you safe but now keep you stuck. You'll need to tell the truth even when your voice shakes. You'll need to love without the armor, trust without the scripts, but you'll do it because they will meet you halfway, because they won't punish your vulnerability, because you'll feel peace in their presence, not pressure. And even in the hard moments, and there will be some, you choose each other again and again and again, not out of fear, but out of clarity, because the soul doesn't forget what it's meant for. And this, you were meant for this. All the heartbreak before, it wasn't wasted. It was clearing space, refining you, preparing you for this frequency, for this mirror, for this arrival, because you weren't ready back then. You would have settled, you would have chased, you would have shrunk yourself to be digestible, but not anymore. Now you love from overflow, not emptiness. Now you walk with knowing, not desperation. Now you receive from worth, not wounds. And that changes everything. So when they come, and they will receive them without apology, open the door without fear, let the walls fall without shame, not recklessly but boldly, because when you feel the energy align, you'll know there'll be no chaos in your chest, no ache in your gut, just that quiet, sacred pull that says, greater than yes. This is it. Not because they fix you, but because they reflect you. Not because they complete you, but because they complement you, and not because they were the goal, but because they are a part of the path, a sacred piece of the divine assignment that your soul has always been walking toward. So breathe. You don't have to go looking. You don't have to chase signs. Just align. Keep becoming. Keep clearing. Keep choosing the version of you that knows what you're worthy of. Because love is not something you force into place. It's something you rise into. And right now, you're rising. They are too. And when the time is right, your journeys will collide. Not to distract, not to detour, but to ignite. And when they look into your eyes for the first time, something ancient will activate. Not fantasy, but frequency. Not chance, but divine choreography. Because this isn't random. This is sacred. This is written. This is lavand. It's almost here.